Hello, my name is Christian Majewski, and I'm going to present you a post-mortem of a Flash game I made called Excit. Maybe you know it. But first of all, maybe I'd introduce myself by telling you two things about me. One is that I've been programming games, I've been developing games since the age of 10, so I'm kind of 18 years in the business now, I guess. And the other thing is that when it came to deciding what to do with my life, kind of what kind of career to pursue, kind of the obvious choice was to become a programmer. But after I spent some time in the industry, I realized that they don't need another programmer, but they maybe need more people who can develop ideas. And so that's why I decided to become a designer instead. And I studied design at KIST, Köln International School of Design. It's a very boring building, but there are some fascinating things going on inside. And this is the game I'm going to present to you today. It's basically a very simple puzzle game that looks like a spreadsheet, and you have to kind of control the cursor, the cross-haired cursor here, and you have to get it on the green button. And you control the cursor with the cursor keys, and the problem is that the cursor keeps on moving when you press a key, so you have to kind of, and it stops until it hits an obstacle, so you have to kind of figure out which obstacles you have to use in order to get to the exit. It's the first level here, but it gets very difficult, I can tell you. And maybe before I get into what went wrong and what went right with the game, maybe I tell you something about how the game came about, or the history of the game. Well, I developed it in 2005. And I was working as a contractor for an advertisement company. And a company which developed business software approached us. And they wanted to have a kind of this viral marketing tool for trade fairs or maybe for the internet. And we proposed them to develop a game. And they agreed. They gave us an upfront payment to develop different ideas. And that's what we did. I got a colleague of mine on board, and together we kind of tried to generate ideas, because this is a very difficult topic. The business software like this, like I showed previously, is not really something you would associate with fun and something that would spread virally. So we had a hard time developing ideas, so we used a lot of techniques like mind mapping and mood charts and everything. And we kind of came up with a very impressive list of, I think, 20 different things, 20 different ideas. And then the customer decided to go with a very traditional one, which is kind of taking an established concept and building upon it and kind of making a small adjustment. And so we picked a game which we really liked, which was called Roadblocks. We were really inspired by it, and we kind of developed it further, invented this whole spreadsheet theme, the whole motto, escape a spreadsheet chaos, which kind of fit to the kind of products the company was developing. And this was the first Photoshop mock-up we came up with. And as you can see, it's almost like the final game. So I'm going to now go into the things that went right. One important thing that we think we did right was kind of that we had the game was very richly animated. Even the graphics were very simple. So kind of the game we were inspired by already had these very, very elaborate animations. And so the first thing we implemented was, when we developed the game, we concentrated on those animations. And just recently, when we did a new version of the game, we realized how important they were for the enjoyment of the game. Like, when they were missing, the whole game was a lot less fun. And that was a very important lesson for us. If you're working on a tight budget, then it makes often sense to concentrate on very simple graphics, but concentrate on very elaborate animations, because they make the game fun. Another thing that we think we didn't right, we overdid it a little bit. So, for example, these are concepts for just one element in our game. We kind of made a lot of different variations, tried them with simple test audiences. We checked that they fit to the overall theme of the game, that they communicate the message. And there were two reasons for it. One, we had the opportunity to do it because we knew the game was already working. We know that the gameplay works. No, we could concentrate on polishing everything. But on the other hand, we had kind of like an obligation to do it, because when there's already a game that is very similar to your game, then people will compare those two, and if your game is somehow inferior in some ways, then people will give you a very hard time. And we realized that when other games came out, which were kind of based upon our game, that they were kind of flawed in many ways, and people really reacted very negatively to them. Another thing we think went really good was this unique, meaningful theme. What I'm referring to is the kind of spreadsheet theme we came up with, this business software theme. Like this was the first thing reviewers commented on when they commented about the game. We received a lot of positive comments from the users, but also from review websites. And this was like always the opener. Like they always mentioned the theme first. And we think, again, this is another thing where many Flash game developers who work on a tight budget kind of miss a very important opportunity. Like especially with puzzle games, they kind of develop very generic themes like Maya or Egyptian themes or just random graphics. And they don't think about the kind of story the theme tells, kind of maybe like a joke or like something people would like to talk about with other people concerning the game. And one last thing we think we really hit a nail there was we had some kind of meaningful level design. So this is a bit hard to explain, but like every level in the game, every individual level has a different character. There's a different idea behind it, and there's a different strategy behind it. So for example, in this level, the player is supposed to kind of break into those rooms and find different ways to break into those rooms. And then in one room, he finds a key to get another room and so forth. And as you can see, the visual style of the whole level kind of communicates that. And this is a totally different level where this is kind of inspired on Star Wars because this is a Death Star vaguely, and you have to kind of get inside and destroy it from inside. And this is a more traditional maze kind of thing. So we kind of really made sure that each level is a unique experience. And we see that, again, that many Flash game developers kind of focus on introducing new graphics, kind of introduce variation by adding more content, more kind of graphics, but they don't use the things they already have. Okay, now the things that didn't went so well. And while we're talking about level design, well, we had some problems with balancing. This is kind of an invented chart, but it kind of gives you an idea how the game plays out. You have very simple levels in the beginning, which are the tutorial levels, and they have to be thinned out because nobody can stand one tutorial after another, so we have to include some very simple levels at the beginning. And then after the tutorials are over, the half of the game is already over, so we have to kind of vamp up the difficulty very steeply. And this created this kind of threshold we weren't really happy with. And also we had kind of problems to create like in-between levels because we were so familiar with the game mechanics that it was hard for us to envision what would be difficult for people to understand. So I guess that's the problem many game developers, especially puzzle game developers, have with, and we didn't come up with a solution yet, but we are aware of the problem now, and we're going to try to do things differently now. So another big thing that we really screwed up was the release, because I have to go back to the history now. It was 2005 when we developed the game. We released the game to the customer. The customer was very happy, but they didn't release the game. And then some months after that, we kind of realized that they were having business problems, and then they went bankrupt. I hope it wasn't our fault. So in the end, we tried to get in contact with somebody, but nobody was kind of there anymore, and the game wasn't released. And this was kind of a very stupid situation for us because we are kind of very passionate about games and want people to play them. And even though we got paid in the end, nobody was playing it, so it was kind of stupid. So 3 years after that, we kind of decided, we have this game lying around, we can publish it on our own. And we uploaded it to a friend's website. We didn't think people will respond to it. We didn't do any kind of advertising. We didn't prepare for any kind of users and any kind of traffic. So we had no means to kind of monetize on it. We had no means to measure it. We had no contact information. We thought maybe 100 people would play it. And we posted it on 2 forums. That's everything. And well, the result was very different, as you can see it sooner. And when the game got more popular, of course, we realized that this is a great chance to learn about how to release a Flash game properly.